Bulletcast for life.
Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek. We are the elite, and you are the weak, and I will always get.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah, the current reigning, defending Bulletcast podcast champion. Haven't been champion in like 2 years. What the hell? I noticed that. I'm like, this is not right. So finally, the title is back where it belongs. Back with Daddy. Yeah. I'm joined by the current Bulletcast in the bank, Brandon Tanguma, just the two of us. Episode 350, 350 consecutive weeks that we've been on our A game, on our ish. Yeah.
And about 340.
No, they all count. They all count.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear if they all count. They all count. Every single one of them. That's why I muted your ass. Yeah. Talk to them.
Okay, I guess we'll talk to the people. 350. Excited. Another milestone. It's almost been a year since we've done another one of these milestones. Crazy. But approaching almost 7 years now at this point. Still here. Still just the two of us. Shout out Katie. Hopefully she'll be back here next week. The other people, I don't think that's gonna happen. But it's been fun.
Hit me up. I don't know. We'll see.
Every Wednesday, Thursdays, Fridays. Obviously Saturday, Sundays doing pay-per-view recaps. When did we when we were in Chabot, what days we were doing? We were doing those Fridays, right?
We were doing those Fridays, yeah, in the Chabot television station. Shout out to Sujoy, man. Good guy, man. It costs money to rent that spot, and we got to use it for free. So that's what's up. That is what's up.
Shout out.
Yeah. Another anniversary. We've been on iHeartRadio for 5 years now. That's awesome. So if you listen to us on there, we're happy to be there. Yes, sir. Let's talk about SmackDown. SmackDown was action packed. John Cena opens it up, the season premiere. The head of the table's music hits. He comes back, tells John to leave. John says, I'll acknowledge you. You have an incredible feat. I haven't earned it, but I know somebody who has. LA Knight. Yeah, he comes out there, introduces himself. Jimmy shows up. And nonetheless, Roman gets acquainted with LA Knight. What were your thoughts of the opening segment of SmackDown?
It's more John Cena being John Cena. The LA Knight, Roman back and forth. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Fresh matchup for Roman. If you've been on Twitter, you've seen the visual. It's been memed of LA Knight and his reflection of his glasses with Roman in those, and thought that was a pretty cool shot. Roman, kind of taking LA Knight kind of seriously, but with the face off with Cody later on in the night, which I thought was just absolutely fantastic. Just a great moment. And, it teases you, they're going to give it to you, but they're not going to give it to you right now. And I thought that was just such a great part. Best part of SmackDown, in my opinion, was just that stare down.
We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, man, I mean, it's evident Roman does not watch the show when he's not there. He's like, who is this guy?
That's why everyone was complaining. Like, why is Paul Heyman, talking to Roman about the tag team match a couple weeks ago on Fastlane? Like, obviously he ain't watching it.
Yeah. Like, what? I mean, do you notice Heyman looks so refreshed? His hair is back to black. He's shaven.
I told you that's going to happen.
His skin is cleared up. When Roman Reigns is around, Paul Heyman looks his best. It's a different relationship than Heyman has had with other guys, than he had with Brock, than he had with Punk. I think I heard Sam Roberts say this. How those guys were Paul Heyman guys, but Paul Heyman is a Roman Reigns guy.
Yes, as the years have gone by, whether you can say it's age or just Paul Heyman realizing what Roman is, he's definitely more, in duty to Roman Reigns than being the guiding force behind, like as you said, Brock and Punk to a lesser extent. They're almost like equals, but yeah,
Yeah.
John Cena in the background of this segment, just I hated it. He was just so goofy and doing like over the top, like oh my god, looking around and like making his little cartoony gestures, which is just kind of epitomized what John Cena has been in this last run.
Well, Peter Rosenberg thinks he should have came back and been Hollywood Cena, which
I mean, I will take anything compared to what John Cena is doing
this
right
is
now.
This is John Cena now. We have to accept that. I mean, what this was John Cena. He was the top guy for 10 plus years. He acknowledged the current top guy, that is Roman Reigns, and gave another nod and acknowledgement to a guy who could be a future real top guy in LA Knight. And he was just in the background. It was very interesting.
I will be nice to Cena. I did like the line of him saying, I would love to challenge you or whatever, but he hasn't earned it, which is true. John Cena has not earned a title shot, which is something I think other companies should, take a look at. If maybe we could, title shot should be important and not just given out willy nilly, especially if there's like 1,000 titles everywhere.
Did you notice how during this segment, Solo just stayed looking at John Cena? Solo
I did notice
Sikoa
that.
wants a piece of John Cena. He wants to beat up John Cena the way Umaga used to beat up John Cena.
And if you're looking for someone for Cena to lose to on the way out, I think Solo is the perfect candidate. It hasn't exactly worked out thus far for Austin Theory, but I think if Cena were to do it to Solo, it's not going to like make him, but it definitely will help him.
Cena needs another victory. We can squeeze in another match, a televised match and victory before then. I think that'd be nice. Yeah, another thing you talk about face to faces. Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill. Oh my God. Yeah. These past few like days on their programming, they have teased so many future matchups. You love it. Like no, like this is going to happen at some point in time. Could happen at WrestleMania 40, could happen later down the line. But that's going to happen. Oh yeah.
At first I kind of liked it of, oh my God, she's in the same room as Charlotte, but then, they've gone back to it a little bit. Like not only they did something very similar on Raw, but then, they have her on NXT all the time and they're just, planting these seeds of her. And I'm like, okay, like it's okay. It's fine. But I think I would almost rather just in the same amount of time of like 15 to 30 seconds, just have like a nice little Jade Cargill introduction package, or just like getting to know her and just calling people out, or having her work out and cut a small promo instead of just kind of doing almost the same thing every single pretty much every single WWE show at this point. She's everywhere.
I mean, it's to entice you, like, okay, this match is going to happen in the future. I mean, really.
But then also, I don't think they're going to do those matches. I don't think they're going to do Charlotte or Becky right off the bat. So you're kind of showing something that people want, but they're not going to give it to them.
Well, Roman and Cody faced off, and we're not going to get that right off the bat.
But you kind of know where they're going with that. You kind of know, like
The Rock showed up. We thought it was going to be The Rock like a month ago.
Well, that's just wishful thinking.
Hell, people are telling me it's going to be Randy Orton because apparently he's coming back to Survivor Series. That's what the internet says.
I just think like this week with what they've done with her is fine, but they're walking a fine line of like, okay, let's just get on with it, Jade. We understand you're this this big star and you're like looking at everyone, but if you're going to be on television, could we like actually have you do something? Is kind of my point.
She is doing something. She's having face to faces with the stars of the division.
But she's not saying a word. She's just looking at them.
That's all less is best. That's all she needs to do. That's literally it.
She's going to have a new catchphrase because I don't think she can say cut the shit on WWE television.
Oh, I mean.
Are we going to get the old like Adam Cole MJF thing where she says cut the shit, and it's like, oh, she was going to say a bad word, but she didn't.
She can just say cut the ish. That's all that needs to happen. There's a new general manager of SmackDown. Triple H returned. He said, Adam Pearce will be the Raw general manager. He's been a WWE official, and the new general manager of SmackDown is none other than former NWA champion Nick Aldis. There's been the meme: you have to be a former NWA champion to be a general manager in WWE. But Cody was the NXT general manager last week. He was former NWA champion. We obviously know about Adam Pearce, and then Nick Aldis had an incredible run as NWA champion twice.
Kurt Angle. Well,
Oh, so that one, it's TNA World Champions, Angle, Foley, Nick Aldis. Yes. But yeah, nonetheless, Nick Aldis, he's there as a SmackDown GM. And yeah, man, I mean, after, Cody and Jay defended the tag titles in 2023, did you ever think you would see Cody Rhodes face off with Roman Reigns with Nick Aldis right in the middle?
no, I mean Nick Aldis as a general manager, I think it's definitely a move. He's only like 36 at this point, so he's younger or the same age as a lot of people they have on television, which is interesting. Of maybe they only see him as a general manager talking point because he's a good promo.
I think I had this
Wrestling
conversation.
is okay.
No, wrestling is very good. I had this conversation with Baby Huey and Alfred from Pro Wrestling Bits. I saw them Friday night. It's just for him. I think it's just for him to get his foot in the door. Just kind of get his foot in the door, and then hopefully maybe something down the line. I mean, I hope they acknowledge, if he and Cody are ever on screen again together, I hope they acknowledge their history and whatnot. But let's talk about that face off, man. I mean, it was so simple. It was enticing, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, it makes you want it again. It really makes you want Cody to truly finish his story. I mean, oh my God. I can't. That's going to be fantastic. Whenever they do battle again, it's going to be fantastic. We found out who replaces Jay Uso, who gets traded over to SmackDown. It's Kevin Owens. A lot of people thought it was going to be Cody Rhodes. That's not the case. Yeah.
I mean, I think Kevin Owens is an adequate addition. If you're not going to do Cody, I think you probably had to send over a main event level babyface. And Kevin Owens, he was just kind of doing his thing with Sammy. But
yeah, I mean, if they're not going to be the tag champions, it doesn't make sense for them to be a team.
yeah, I mean, the other thing is he's done feuds with Roman so much, and it is kind of the bloodline show over there. So I just don't know what he does on SmackDown because
put him
you're
with
not going to
Austin
run.
Theory, put him with Grayson Waller, have him be a foil for Lashley's group when the LWO is done with him.
Yeah, but
yeah. What else? Lashley and crew attacked Carlito, so Carlito didn't get a match on SmackDown. He got attacked. So they're clearly heels, which is good. Hopefully something comes of this.
hope so. I don't know what their idea is with Carlito because, Nostalgia Act looks the part. Physically, I think he had decent matches, but you're not going to like push him to the moon by any sense. As I talked about on Fastlane, kind of wondering why they had Carlito beat Montez Ford. I know Dawkins is kind of the fall guy for the Street Profits at this point, but maybe at the end of the day, I think Carlito's going to lose this feud to put over Lashley's new group. So we'll just have to wait and see on that front.
We'll have to wait and see. SmackDown ended with LA Knight getting the dub over Solo Sikoa and Roman spearing LA Knight, letting him know like this is his show. So looks like we are moving towards LA Knight. Yeah. And Roman Reigns is in Saudi Arabia. Outside the ring, the Black Wrestler 500 came out. This is the list that they do, because there's a PWI, but this is obviously specifically for Black wrestlers. So I will name some of the wrestlers on here. Some homies are on this list. Number 1, Brian Keith, 19, Powerhouse Hobbs, 20, Alex Kane, 21, Lee Moriarty, 22, Trisha Dora, 24, Trinity, 27, Calvin Tankman, 29, Jordan Oliver, 42, Jay Malachi, Robert Martyr, 45, Shug D, 46, AJ Gray, 49, Alpha Zoe, 50, Scherzer, 138, Midas Creed, 139, Papa Jase, 232, and Dollar, the former top dollar, 352. Congrats to everyone that made the list, but seeing the homies like Zoe, Scherzer, and Midas, that warmed my heart to see them on this list. And shout out Brian Keith, man. He's been doing the damn thing. I'm happy he got to be number 1. Shout out to the Underground King, yes sir.
Yeah, I mean, as I've said, I have my qualms with the actual PWI 500, but the black uh power, whatever, black wrestler 500, I think it's
The black whatever. Wow.
sorry, I forgot what the exact terminology was. I was
Wow.
also had to check my jury duty thing because I'm doing jury duty this week, but I haven't done jury duty, so I completely forgot until right now. So, but shout
Wow.
out those people. Shout out Zoe, shout out Surza. Fantastic match at Collectible Stampede last week, as I know everybody out there saw and watched that match because we told you to last week.
Of course. Zoe got a big win over Speedboat Mike Bailey at West Coast 5, so he's doing the damn thing. Yeah. The PWI Women's 250 came out. Number 1, Rhea Ripley. 2, Gilia. 3, Bianca Belair. 4, Jamie Hayter. 5, Tam Nakono. 6, Athena. 7, Deanna Purrazzo. 8, Willow Nightingale. 9, Camille. 10, Jordan Grace. Okay. The time period goes from
Mommy's always on top.
October 1st of the previous year to September 15th of the current one. Oh, wow. So, congrats.
Yeah. I mean, no, not really. Just another list. Rhea Ripley being on as number 1 makes absolute sense. She's been on fire the last year, and I know they kind of like to switch things up, have different number 1s every single year, but I would not be shocked if she is number 1 again next year.
That's a possibility. Mercedes Moné tells fans to stop reading fiction, or tells a fan to stop reading fiction. She was at the New York City Comic-Con. A fan video
dressed up as Jesse.
Yes.
Respectfully.
Yes, shout out. A fan videotaped her and asked her, why she left WWE. Maybe because of the booking, or you left because of the booking. That's what he read online. And she laughed and told him to stop reading fiction. This is what I've been talking about, guys. You're going to get the reaction that this guy got. Laughed in the face. Stop. Stop with it. Please. I hope this is a lesson to all of you. Stop.
I mean, they caught this on video. I mean, I think this was definitely done for clout, or to try to get a reaction from her.
I mean, don't defend it. No,
I'm not defending. I'm just saying they look like even bigger clowns, because I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to get a rise out of her and try to get whether she was going to say yes or no. They were just doing this to get clicks and to get a viral video on Twitter.
I mean, sure, it was done, but the point: don't believe everything you read on the internet. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. Let it happen in front of your eyes, and then believe it. That's what I've been saying for months. Hell, it's actually what I've been saying since like the inception of the show. But here we are. Nobody ever wants to believe me. Yeah. Speaking of getting clicks, Tony Khan. So what's up with this man on Twitter, man? Bald assholes saying that they actually won the war because John Cena and The Undertaker were, for the first time of their careers, on a show that did less than 1 million viewers.
Yeah, just not a good look for Tony. Not a good week for Tony, both on and off Twitter. There was like some screenshots of him DMing a fan because they were voicing their displeasure over the Juice Robinson quarters angle. And he called out WWE for tampering because during a time where his mother was sick. And like I know Phillip is gonna like this, but allegedly people are saying backstage, like, Tony, get off of Twitter, put the phone down. You don't need to be doing this type of stuff. Now, if Twitter was a thing in 1984, in however old Vince McMahon was at that time, I don't know how he would have reacted, but I don't think he would have been doing this. But I think that's also just a thing of Tony being a internet wrestling person pretty much his entire career.
I mean, I heard Sam Roberts say this, and he's like, this is like the first time it's been done with a Twitter account, because you go back to Eric Bischoff, when people would jump from WCW to WWE, there'd be a video package of said person getting beat up while they made the jump, and then he used to reveal their results and everything. And Eric Bischoff did a lot to be disruptive, obviously because they were in an actual real ratings war to where the company would be gone if the ratings didn't pull through like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess there were match graphics. Like, so if you go to his Twitter account, you'll see his random tweets. You'll see this match is happening. So maybe it was a strategic move by Mr. Khan, but If it was not, and he was just doing this to do this, then why are you doing that, bro? Just worry about your own product.
I mean, as someone who's like, I'm on the internet a lot, but I'm not like posting a lot. I just don't understand what is the mindset behind someone who is a multimillionaire. His family's like a billionaire. He has all these different jobs and all these different things he's doing, and yet he's
You
going
know what's behind
after.
the mindset? Yeah, that.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Apparently, NWA got a TV deal with the CW. That's something. That's something to celebrate. This is some actual good news. Yeah, apparently there were 2 deals stricken. One for obviously for the in-ring product, and then another one to be a sort of reality series behind the scenes of the NWA. So, you know, I believe they said there was some more stuff to iron out, but hey, if this is true, congratulations to Billy Corgan. Happy for him. Happy for the NWA. Happy for all the talent over there. Hopefully, they can get some real time to shine.
Yeah, good for them. You know, another wrestling company getting a television spot. I don't know how much this is going to affect kind of the buzz around NWA, but bottom line, bottom dollar, it'll help them out.
Yep. Impact Bound for Glory sells out. They sold out their building. Congratulations to them. It's nice to see other companies doing very well. Impact's been killing it lately, man. Shout out to them. I'm really happy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the exact number is in terms of the building size, but
They run
Impact
smaller buildings, so they're able to do this.
Exactly. I mean, we're seeing with Collision and some AW stuff. Maybe you should. And ECW did this back in the day of like, there's a fine line of do you stay in the quote unquote bingo halls or do you move up to those like minor league hockey arenas to where you might not be able to sell out, but you'll probably make some more money. And I think Impact is kind of doing the right thing of, I think just visually, it's always better to kind of be a little more cautious and run that smaller venue than to kind of go the extra 5,000 seats, but only sell like 1,000 more tickets.
Yeah, I mean, Impact, no, they're hot, man. They're getting real hot right now. I love it. Who attacked Trick? Cody Rhodes, last thing is the general manager of NXT, made it a fatal 4-way for an opportunity at the NXT title. It was supposed to be Trick Williams, Braun Breaker, Baron Corbin, and Carmelo Hayes. Somebody attacked Trick Williams, so he was not in it. And then, boom, Carmelo Hayes.
Well,
Wins.
it is convenient that Carmelo Hayes won the match. You know, they're playing up a possible breakup between them. I don't know how quickly they want to do it, if they want to make it culminate at the next takeover or at sorry, they don't do takeovers anymore. The next PLE or the next, at the WrestleMania one. But maybe it's a swerve, bro. And then eventually they get to Carmelo Hayes, or it's like the Rikishi thing where, it was somebody else, but then Carmelo paid off this person to beat up Trick.
He did it. He did it for The Rock.
He did it for DeMello.
Oh, I did it for DeMello. Yeah. Chris Hero is making his in-ring return next month. West Coast Whiplash. With the Irish Cultural Center in San Francisco. He's going to take on Timothy Thatcher. That is going to be something. Timothy Thatcher, decimated my homie JT Thorne and then just went on a rampage. And here we are.
Yeah, Chris Hero, independent legend, and he's been doing some things over West Coast, and nice to see he's back in the ring. Maybe I come out of retirement and go watch this show.
Oh, really?
Maybe we'll see.
Oh, really? You're gonna go.
Maybe I'll also stop by and watch an Oasis show one of these days too.
I would hope so.
One of these days, whenever that one kid wrestles, Doncho something.
Who?
Something. I forget what the kid's name is.
What's his name? We need to know his name before you.
The guy, he just goes by a lot of different names. I think it's like Sancho Demora or something.
Oh, Sancho Demira.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yes, is that a cat in the background there?
Probably, yeah. Shut up, Bailey.
You named your cat Bailey.
Well, it was supposed to be like it was obvious. Well, so kayfabe, we adopted, or I guess just got these 2 cats, and I got them from my like aunts, and they said like, oh, they have nipples, so they're girls. Well, turns out guy cats have nipples too, but so originally his name was Bailey, And they were like, Bailey can be a guy's name too. So there you go.
I once knew a man named Bailey, or a boy, because we were both children. We were in middle school. Yes. Moving on. Suge Dunkerton, the former. Remember Pineapple Pete?
Pineapple Pete.
Yes. He defeated Trichador to become the new Pan African World Diaspora Champion, ending Trichador's 1,338 long day reign as champion. Congrats to Suge, man! What a big accomplishment. The Black Wrestlers 500 and defeating Trichador for this prestigious championship. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Moving on from that, let's hit the fan mail. Got a lot of fan mail here, man. Got a lot of fan mail. Also, some fan mail from last week that was not touched. So here we go. Mr. X, the Hall of Famer.
Welcome back, Mr. X.
Hello again. First of all, I want to apologize for being absent the last few weeks, not Hall of Fame material from me. It's okay. Well, Jay joined the main roster. We should be joining NXT. We kind of really are. You talked about that. Speaking of,
well, I mean, she did show up at the very end of NXT. We didn't talk about that.
It was pointing at her wrist, and and people are like, "Oh, is that clobbering time?" We'll see. Speaking of NXT, with this past Tuesday's star-studded episode be enough to get more eyes on the product, or did people only tune in to see said stars? Well, NXT did a big number the week before this, so I mean, I think they'll be okay.
I mean, I've talked about how NXT has kind of relied a lot on the main roster stars, and it helps them in the ratings and like puts up good numbers, and they're trying to get a television deal right now, so that's probably why they're doing it. But I guess not worry because I really don't care, but I just feel as though if and when they get away from that, you'll see the numbers reflect that. Of like people are looking at just for the main roster people.
This is a bloodline thing we've kind of already talked about. Well, MJF finally lose the diamond ring. This is this week's. This is he sent this about an hour ago. I suppose he will. What can we expect from Danhausen and his Halloween 3 inspired vignettes when he returns? Will he be wrestling more, and could we see him go after a title? Danhausen, friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Get well soon.
Yes. What kind of acceptance speech can we expect from Toni Storm when she wins an Academy Award for her brilliant performance in these movies? A very dramatic.
Well, I wish they didn't put these movies, in side by side with commercials, because I know they're silent movies, but I would like to at least hear the music and get the ambiance. Yes. I guess they also post them on Twitter and YouTube, but I'm not going to go out my way and do that.
If you scroll upon it, you scroll upon it?
Yep. If the algorithms, then I'll watch it.
What is your algorithm? Yeah.
Well, there's different types of algorithms because I'm watching different things on different sites.
What are you watching?
Well, it depends. Name a website. Not those types of websites.
I mean,
we don't go on those types of websites.
What's on your Twitter, bro? What's on the Twitter?
Well, a lot of sports stuff, a lot of sports news, and then because it's Elon's thing, they just post like those random ass accounts that have. I'm not like deep in it where it's like a lot of gruesome stuff, but there's just like fight videos and things that unfortunately like every once in a while I do click on, which I know I should not do because that just makes it more. But it's like, oh, look at this one thing, and then next thing I have that same account all on my For You page for the next week.
Oh, really?
Yep, some wrestling stuff. I try to have some news on there, but this day and age,
This day and age, you're right. Yeah. All right, Monday Night Raw, the Judgment Day win back the tag titles. Looks like Jay and Cody are going to retain. Jimmy Uso comes out of nowhere, costs his brother and Cody the tag championships.
Just another lovely finish to switch up the championships. And I'm not a big fan of the short title reigns, but maybe they have some sort of story in this. I mean, the Judgment Day thing, I will say, is maybe getting a little bit long the tooth at this point. I'm hoping maybe they do some sort of culmination at Survivor Series. But, we're kind of back to where we started like a month ago. And even at that point, it was already kind of getting a little repetitive.
What?
Just the Judgment Day stuff of, there's some little bit disagreements here and there. But now they do have kind of the added dynamic of Rhea Ripley is firmly the leader of Judgment Day at this point, and she's doing something with Drew McIntyre. I don't know what they're cooking up, but they're cooking up something.
We shall see. Drew and Seth had a great promo together. Drew talked about how he carried this company on his back during a pandemic. And he said, Seth, we're gonna see if you can reinvent yourself for like the 54th time after I beat you. I was like, it's good. And then Seth tells him to stop, crying about the bloodline. And Drew gave a very adamant statement. He's not going to. When he got back to it, when it was finally his time, the bloodline cost him again.
Yeah, I mean, oh god, I try to blur my background. It's a terrible idea.
Why?
I don't know, because now I'm like, okay, I was frozen on my side for a little bit, but we're fine. We're back.
I saw. There you are.
We're back. All right. So, anyways, really been enjoying the Drew McIntyre stuff. I think he's been a good, aggressive kind of tweener at this point before he ultimately does turn, which you kind of see coming. But I think in the meantime, it's been entertaining. I do wonder when he turns full blown heel, if it's on Seth, how the crowd will react. As I've said, those kind of cheer for the heel fans have kind of gone away in WWE at this point. But I'm not the biggest fan of Seth. And if it were to be between Drew and his current iteration against Seth right now, I would cheer for Drew because I'm just, a dirty little mark like that.
I feel it, man. I mean, the rumors are like Drew McIntyre is going to leave and he should leave. I mean, WWE said, we'll give you a great storyline. We dare you to leave. I mean, the story is not over, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm liking it, man. It's a slow burn, and he's just gonna kick Seth's head off. It just needs to be one Claymore, boom, right to the dome, and he should walk out of Saudi Arabia the world heavyweight champion.
I mean, I'm all for that. I don't know if it's going to be like a turn in the match or if it's, leading into it or after the fact. But if Drew is here for the long haul, I would not be opposed to him being the world champion. Now you have the fact of you have a heel world champion, heel WWE Universal, whatever Roman's official title is, got a heel Intercontinental
champion. He is the
champion.
undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion.
Sorry, the uwu. How could I forget?
Don't disrespect that man like that.
It's the uwu.
Don't disrespect him in that championship. How dare you?
Oh yeah. Also going back to the John Cena thing, he said, so I forget how he exactly worded it, but he said you've had a great title reign. It's the greatest title reign ever, but it's not just in terms of numbers speak. I don't know what Cena was going at on that one, but he tried, I guess. Shout out John Cena. Do you even know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. I'm just trying to remember how he worded it. I remember Roman just saying you started calling yourself the GOAT. I'm the GOAT. Yeah, I remember that part. Anyway, back to the Monday Night Raw of it all. Becky meets Jade, like that.
Yeah, as I said earlier, pretty identical to what they did with Charlotte. Did something different on NXT, so maybe they're showing their hand that she's going to be in NXT for at least a cup of coffee, and then goes to the main roster. Maybe she makes she has a feud in NXT for a little bit, and then she debuts the Royal Rumble or something and wins, or whatever the case may be.
Possibly. Gunther retains the Intercontinental title in a thriller with Bronson Reed.
Yeah, another really good match from Gunther. We've seen this now twice already of just little mini feud matches that end the same with Gunther winning, but it was entertaining while it lasted.
Yes, it was. Nakamura wins Falls Count Anywhere throughout a GTS.
Yeah, and Ricochet out here doing much more independent, indie Ricochet stuff than what we've kind of seen in the past, kind of a little more high flying stuff. I don't know if that's Triple H signing off on things Vince would have vetoed, or Ricochet was feeling a little froggy that day. But I thought this was a really good match. I probably would say better than the two Seth Rollins matches Nakamura had.
It's a possibility. That's a possibility to say yes. AEW Dynamite. Tell us.
Yep. So they kicked it off with Jay White defeating Penta. Once again, just kind of getting Jay White to win. I love Penta. I think he could be so much more than just kind of being a jobber to the stars in singles matches.
Then why isn't he?
You're telling me, brother. I don't know.
Come on. Look at how they're treating Jade and Cody. Come on, Penta. Come on, bro. Come on. You know you want to.
I mean, George Kittle, best friends with Penta, and George Kittle doesn't show up on AEW, which boggles my mind. I don't understand. I have no idea why George Kittle was not at Revolution in San Francisco, but what do I know?
Because he goes to the superior product.
Yeah, well, he was at San Jose's Raw a couple weeks ago, so
was I.
There you go. Yeah, then that leads to promo with Jay and Bang Bang Gang or whatever. MJF cuts another promo backstage. We didn't really talk about it last week, the quarter stuff, but they seem to have been moved past that to where Juice Robinson has gone more after the ring instead of that. So I think they've seen either the errors of their ways or just the blowback from fans. They're just like, okay, yeah, maybe we should have done that, but looks as though they're going a different direction there. Adam Copeland sits down with Renee Paquette, and she kind of talks about just kind of like, oh, why are you here and how's everything going? And he kind of just laid out the life story of him and Christian, kind of how he was the more motive. I think the way he said it was good, but it almost kind of made him seem like he's responsible for Christian's entire career, which a little heelish, I will say. Also, go back to Collision, the little spat him and Ricky Starks had back and forth. Not a great look on either side, because I would assume
Dwayne the Rock.
Yeah, and Ricky Starks calling basically all the old WWE guys in the ring, Wild Hogs, which if you don't know, Wild Hogs is like a late 2000s movie with like a bunch of old actors like having a midlife
Martin
crisis.
Lawrence, Tim Allen. God, who else was in Wild? Were you a Wild Hogs fan? Did you enjoy the movie?
I mean, I don't know if I'd say I'd enjoy the movie, but as someone whose father is a Harley Davidson person, I did watch the movie.
Okay, so you had a
John Travolta was in there. That's another one.
You had a relation to the movie.
Yes, so I mean, I don't know how many people when he said Wild Hogs like knew what he was talking about, but I instantly knew what he was talking about.
Wild Hogs, his movie came out in 2007. It's William H. Macy, what did he play in?
Did I see that movie like in a drive-in?
He was in Fargo, Shameless.
I might have.
Jurassic Park 3. Okay, yeah. So you have William H. Macy.
I'm just gonna randomly text my brother and see if he corroborates the story.
Martin Lawrence and Tim Allen. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's who was in this. Marissa Tomei was in this movie. Wow. I might have to give this apparently there was supposed to be a second one and they just decided not to make it.
Damn, I hate to see it.
That's terrible. That is terrible. All right. Moving on from that. Keep it going with the Adam Copeland of it all.
Yeah, I mean, he also said like he wasn't gonna fight Christian, which I think is good. I do not need to see an Edge Christian feud for a long period of time, let alone a one-off on a Dynamite or at Full Gear. So they might come back around to it, but hopefully, also Edge like said, I don't know what. Even though he said in his opening promo he wants to prove himself against wrestlers he's never wrestled before, but then Renee asked him this week, "Why are you here?" And then he said, "I don't know." So he just like completely contradicted what he said when he first came to AEW. But whatever. We had a Wardlow squash, kills poor old Ryan Nemeth real quick, and Tony Schiavone tries to get a talk with him, and he asks him.
Have you noticed the MJF on his tape?
Well, they Tony Schiavone asked, "What's next?" or "Why? What are you doing? What's whatever?" Wardlow, and then Wardlow just put his hand up or put his wrist up and show the MJF on his tape.
Now this is something that interests me. Babyface MJF versus heel Wardlow. I mean, the story that can be told. On Wardlow's biggest day, MJF made it about him and threatened a no-show. And you play up all that stuff right after the Jay White thing. This is how, yes, the Dynamite after. You have Wardlow just attack MJF. And then what do they do? The winter is coming. That's their big dynamite at the end of the year. Oh yeah. Come on, Tony Khan, please. I'm gonna need you to do this.
I know he's a babyface now, but hasn't really brought up the bidding war of 2024, and we're like 2 months away from that, or 3 months away from that.
Wardlow beats him and he leaves.
I do think the dynamic of Wardlow and MJF is interesting now that it's switched. I don't know what you do with Wardlow, because like if he loses again, like he's kind of just lost all of his major feuds at this point. I mean, he did beat MJF, I guess, at Double or Nothing last year, but since then it hasn't been great sledding, which I did predict. MJF or Wardlow without MJF was not going to be great. And but the big thing is, which kind of solidified his heel turn, which people kind of suggested, he shoulder checks Tony Schiavone, and Tony Schiavone takes a kind of a bump and he goes down, which is something they seldomly use. I forget who it was that attacked Schiavone the first time, but it gets over big when they do it. And if and when they're going to really like go after Schiavone to like really put over like a dastardly heel, it is going to give them honestly the Don Callis family. Like I know they have so much heat at this point, but if they like were to just beat up and bloody Tony Schiavone, like mega Dominic level heat for them. Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, the Don Callis family, they cut a promo.
Well, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. How are they?
Let's see. What did they do? Yeah. Oh, Phillip, don't get me started. They beat the Chargers on Monday Night Football.
They beat the Bolts.
Yep.
The Bolts weren't up.
Justin Herbert is my fantasy. Justin Herbert's my fantasy quarterback. I know no one cares about my fantasy team, but I just need a couple points from him on that last drive. And what does he do? Sack, interception. I lose to my rival. Oh,
I heard the Niners lost to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, shout out the Browns.
Now, I don't watch football, and I know that's bad.
Well, Browns got arguably the best defense in football. They did lose to like their third string quarterback, but not the best look at CMC. And Debo went down, but
Debo went down. Debo Samuels.
Yep. They're playing on Monday, so both those guys are questionable. So we don't know what's going on yet. But
this is the most sports we probably ever talked on this podcast. You guys are welcome.
Well, if you want to hear more sports, listen to Curveballs and Chair Shots every Friday.
Yeah, I'll be there too.
Yeah. Philip's we're gonna break down the intricacies of Week 7, and he's gonna break down the ALCS and NLDS. Philip, who do you got to win the World Series?
I mean, isn't it obvious?
Yeah. I mean, there's only 4 teams to choose from, so I mean, it should be kind of obvious.
I mean, I want Toronto. That's just me. I want the Blue Jays. That's just me.
I mean, I would love the Blue Jays to win the World Series, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
It's unfortunate. So who are you going for?
I'm probably going for the Phillies.
The Phillies.
I got the Phillies and the Rangers in the World Series this year.
Okay.
Both of my predictions are looking pretty good at this point. Phillies up 2-0. I picked them to go in 5, so they can lose one in Arizona.
Okay. What about the other teams? Who else?
Then the Rangers and Astros. Astros just beat the Rangers.
Houston Astros.
Houston Astros just beat the Rangers today, so they get it up to 2-1. Must be much
no A's, huh?
Yeah, we don't talk about them. And anyways, the Don Callis family, which we were here to talk about originally, they come out, they cut a promo. Will Hobbs, shout out Super Bowl 8, 1998 at the Cow Palace. He talked about he was there front row with his grandma, Big Mama, and she bought him tickets to the front row. And Chris Jericho, that's the only thing he wanted to see, was to meet Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho said, "Sit down, kid," and told his grandma to shut up or something like that. So this is why Powerhouse Hobbs has harbored these feelings for Chris Jericho all these years. Now I've looked on Twitter. People may have, watched the match back with him and Hoovy, hair versus mask, and they did not see a young Will Hobbs in the front row. But, don't get the truth in the way of a good story.
Look, I love Hobbs. You know our relationship. He's been on the show. Jericho's my friend. I don't like to see my friends fight. I'm torn, man. I don't know what to do.
A tough one.
What should I do?
I mean, I thought the promo from Hobbs itself was probably on the better side of what he's done. Not exactly high praise, or high benchmark for him to clear, but I thought it was just like a simple story. And he was at Super Bowl, so there is like a little bit of truth to that. So I think that does kind of help him with telling a story and telling these promos.
Look, man, a heel when they're telling a story, there has to be a little bit of truth in there. He was in the building.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all you need.
That's all you need. But that leads into Omega and Kyle Fletcher having a match, and really good match as you'd expect from those two. Omega gets the win, so continuing that feud with the Callis family. Then, honestly, probably like the biggest announcement or the biggest thing that happened on this show, Sting just gets introduced by Tony Schiavone. He gets the ring and kind of cuts an awkward Sting promo from what you would expect of him, just kind of meandering a little bit, and he hints at it, and he finally just comes out and says it. Revolution 2024 will be Sting's last match. No chicanery, no angle. Now, there was an angle later on where he comes to help Darby Allin, but in this segment, just he drops the mic, says he's retiring and at Revolution 2024, and that's it. So, shout out Sting, legendary career, doing great stuff at the very end of his career.
Love Sting.
You will love that he name dropped Hulk Hogan and did get a boo from a majority of the crowd.
I saw. I was like, yes. He said Hogan's name, and then they go right to a black guy in the front row with a Burberry scarf booing. I'm like, all right. I'll give you that one, Tony.
And I think Sting must have expected that because he did have kind of a nice little comeback.
He's like, all right, I hear you.
I get it, but he did teach me a lot of things, and I learned a lot from him. So I was like, all right, Sting, I see what you did there.
Yeah, this is learning on the fly, baby. Oh, look, man, when Sting debuted, I popped. I was like, oh, snookerdoodle. Sting. Yeah, but I did kind of get annoyed with it's Sting for like a month later without really doing anything. But Revolution, I'm excited, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see who his last match is. Darby Allin? Huh?
That was kind of what came to mind. I don't know what he wants to do, if he just wants to have a singles match or a tag team match, but
do a singles match.
I mean, if it's just Darby and Sting, friend versus friend, mentor mentee, and Darby gets the win, I think that's perfect. I don't think you need to do anything special with Sting.
He's a legend. You don't have to do anything special with him.
Okay, that was not worded properly. You don't need to, a bunch of bells and whistles with Sting. You don't need to I don't even know what you would do at this point with Sting, because he's kind of in that elk to where no one really of his era is wrestling at this point, and so, I mean, unless you have a big old ceremony of people from his era come out and do that type of stuff.
2022 was a weird time. You had Sting, Vince McMahon, Steve Austin, and Ric Flair all had matches that year.
Ric Flair is the last person from Evolution to have a match.
Yes. See, now you're bringing the stats. That's why you're here, man. There you go. What else?
Finally, they had the Dynamite Battle Royal. Just 12 guys. Really, Juice Robinson was the only guy you thought was going to have a chance to win, because they've just built. He's the only one that's really been built, and it has a ready-made story with MJF. MJF was on commentary. Juice does get the win, so next week we will get Juice Robinson versus MJF for the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and MJF has won the last 5, right? Or the last...
Yes.
Yeah. So...
Or last 4, technically.
19, 20, 21, 22, so 4. He's going for the 5th one.
Going for the 5-peat, baby!
Juice has talked about how he just wants to get it and then pawn it off or melt it or whatever he's going to do with it. And, now with MJF being a babyface, getting the ring off of him would be a good move. And if they just get away with it altogether, I'm perfectly fine with that as well. Because at this point, 4 years in, and it's only been MJF with that thing, it's kind of run its course. And I don't think there's really much to it, any gravitas to it outside of MJF using it as a weapon.
So what is it? What was the point of the ring again?
I don't even know. Was the original point to
let you watch the product?
Well, I'm trying to think. Because it wasn't like a title shot or anything. It was just
right? Wasn't it?
I think it was similar to the Cody Rhodes just like world title ring thing. It's like it's just it signifies just
Well, no,
a
so
thing.
the Cody ring was so we didn't have to carry the belt around all the time, and you would kiss the ring, and that way you would honor him, hence the Ring of Honor. That's it was like his acknowledge me before Roman started saying acknowledge me, which I would love for Cody. I need Cody to be a heel in WWE as a world champion and bring back the kiss the ring. I think that'd be hilarious.
Well,
No?
you know,
Okay.
I mean, Cody.
Fine,
is
forget my ideas then. Fine, yeah.
No, I'm just saying Cody as a heel. If they're, I am not opposed to that. Now, I don't think that's going to happen for a while, but I think there will be some legs to Cody as a heel in WWE whenever that may happen.
Oh, of course. Is that all? Are we good? Is that everything?
Yeah, you know, skipped over some things. We got some more stupid Adam Cole nonsense with Roderick Strong. He finally left Roderick Strong, so I guess that he's finally having his ankle surgery. Also, like they hint or kind of allude to the attack from those masked men with the devil mask
Like 2 weeks ago?
like 3 weeks ago, I think.
I don't care anymore now.
Yeah, like it just happened and they kind of make veiled references to it, but it's like, okay, at this point I just kind of expect it to be Adam Cole and the Kingdom, and it's just gonna like just happen 1 week and it's gonna be like, oh, remember this happened and it was me, Austin. It was me all along. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So that's what I'm kind of expecting at this point.
Really? Let's see. All right, well, that's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. This weekend, what did I do? I was at Knox Pro in Bakersfield, saw Black Pearl, chopped it up with him. Saw their team and how they work. You know, great stuff. Congrats to J. Rod. She won one of their championships, and then went over to Circle 6 West Hollywood Sunday. Saw the Odyssey of Death go up against Black Death. Journey Fatu versus AJ Gray. Good stuff. Met the legendary Masato Tanaka. Chopped it up with Gangrel real quick. Good stuff, man. Had a great weekend. There's wrestling going on in the Bay this weekend. I believe East Bay Pro has a show. I don't know. Next Level has a show out in Sac. So if you're in those areas, go check them out. Episode 350. Thank you guys so much, man. I say this every anniversary of the podcast, and every time we hit a milestone like this, but it's true. When I started this, I did not believe that we would hit 350 episodes. Hell, I didn't even think I'd hit 10. But here we are, never missed a week. I take a lot of pride in that. I think Sam Roberts and us are the only podcast who never miss a week, you know, so that means something, you know, and he's been doing this a few years longer than we have, so we're catching up. We're almost up there, man. Thank you guys so much. Seriously, next week we're back with another one. Back like we never left, man, because we haven't left. We're never going to. I've done this podcast at coaching wrestling tournaments. Done this podcast recovering from ankle surgery, sick, messed up, off a night of you know, being out with the boys and all that other stuff. But you know, because I take pride in this and I love this. You know, this is something truly special to me, man. Thank you all. Got an interview scheduled next week. I have to make sure that's still confirmed and whatnot. But yeah, gonna get some more interviews out here before the year is up. Thank you all so much, Brandon. Any last words?
Nah, just love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully 350 more.
Yes. Be safe and stay dangerous.
Get up! This is a revolution. This is our time to rise. Look deep within your mind. Look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek. We are the elite, and you are the weak.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.